The Oscars red carpet looks like a perfectly controlled river of silk. Everything flows, everything shines, everything smiles. But beneath that polished surface, there are whirlpools, tensions, unwritten rules, and small fires of panic that are put out just before the broadcast begins. Hello, inhabitants of the internet. Welcome to a new video. Because not all the dresses we see made it there without resistance. Some were a breath away from being left out, hanging in a dressing room like evidence of an aesthetic crime. The history of the Oscars is not only projected on screen, it is also stitched, tailored, and argued over behind closed doors. Every controversial look is a crack in the idea that glamour is innocent. That's why today, I'll talk to you about the cases of the most controversial looks that were almost banned at the Oscars. Number 1. One of the most remembered cases is Cher in 1986, when she appeared wearing a Bob Mackie ensemble that looked more like a mirage than a dress. Black feathers, a bare midriff, and an energy that challenged the very notion of acceptable elegance. That night, Cher didn't just wear a look, she carried a warning. It was as if fashion itself were saying, "I can be spectacle, and I'm not going to apologize." They say the Academy took note. Not to applaud, but to keep watch. Number 2. In 1989, Cher appeared once again, dressed like a vision from a fever dream. A bare midriff, sheer fabrics that defied gravity, and a headdress that looked like an alien crown. She didn't walk, she advanced as if she knew something the others still didn't. For many executives, it was too much. Too much body, too much power, too much freedom. The dress didn't break any explicit rule, but it violated something more dangerous: balance. Years later, it would be celebrated as iconic. That night, it was seen as a sequined threat. Number 3. If Cher was excess, Bjork was pure bewilderment. In 2001, her swan dress glided down the carpet like a riddle with no immediate solution. It wasn't ugly or beautiful, it was strange. The swan wrapped around her neck as if protecting or watching her, and the egg she laid in front of the cameras sealed the chaos. Some thought it was a joke, others a sign of disrespect. The truth is, the protocol team didn't know how to react. Was that fashion or performance? Today, it's history. Back then, it was a monumental shock. Number 4. Controversy can also be quiet. In 1998, Sharon Stone paired a haute couture skirt with a basic Gap shirt. The crime wasn't showing too much skin, but mixing worlds. Haute couture with everyday clothing, luxury with normality. It was like putting ketchup on caviar. No one tried to ban her, but the murmurs were intense, because that look asked an uncomfortable question. What if glamour wasn't so sacred? Number 5. Controversy doesn't always come from the strange. Sometimes it's born from what feels uncomfortably real. In 2002, Halle Berry appeared in an Elie Saab dress that combined sheer panels, strategic embroidery, and a sensuality impossible to ignore. The audience applauded. The Academy took a deep breath. Because the dress didn't break any explicit rules, but it did challenge the invisible line between glamour and daring. It was like walking on thin ice in stiletto heels. Beautiful, but dangerously bold. Number 6. Over the years, the body became the true battleground. In 2013, the Academy quietly sent out a reminder: no extreme sheerness, no visible, intimate areas. The message was clear, even if no one wanted to say it out loud. And right then, Angelina Jolie appeared in her famous black dress with a slit so high it seemed to have an agenda of its own. She showed nothing forbidden, yet suggested everything. The leg became a meme, a symbol, a gesture of power. She didn't break the rules, she circled them with surgical elegance. And sometimes that's even more provocative. Number 7. But not all controversy comes from showing skin. In 2018, Frances McDormand walked onto the stage in a sober dress and an attitude sharp enough to cut the air. In a sea of silhouettes designed to please, she chose not to. Her look didn't scream luxury, it screamed presence. It made some people uncomfortable because it reminded them of something forgotten. Fashion can also be armor, not just ornament. Number 8. Then there are the looks that unsettled people because of what they represented. In 2020, Natalie Portman embroidered the names of female directors overlooked by the Academy onto her cape. It wasn't a controversial dress because of its shape, but because of its message. No one could ban it without admitting the problem it exposed. It was like wearing a protest banner stitched in gold thread. Elegant, silent, devastating. Sometimes irony walks in wearing flat shoes. At the 2023 Oscars, the debate flared up again with looks that challenged the classic idea of dressing well. Completely bare backs, silhouettes with no clear gender, garments that seemed unfinished. There wasn't a single piece singled out, but rather a general sense of lost control, as if the red carpet no longer answered to anyone. And perhaps that is the real fear. Not a single scandal, but the accumulation of them. Every controversial look leaves a crack. Every crack widens the space for the next one. What once seemed unthinkable becomes a reference. What was almost banned is imitated tomorrow. Behind every dress, there is a silent negotiation. Stylists crossing their fingers, representatives reading emails with raised eyebrows, organizers wondering if that zipper will go too high, if that fabric will reflect too much flash, if that message will be too clear. At the Oscars, fashion is not just aesthetic, it's strategy. And yet, the looks we remember aren't the correct ones, but the brave ones. The ones that made people uncomfortable, confused them, or provoked nervous laughter. The ones that forced us to rethink what elegance, respect, or glamour really mean. The ones that proved a dress can be more dangerous than a speech. In the end, you realize the title falls short. It's not just about looks that were almost banned, but about ideas that almost didn't make it in. About bodies claiming space. About women and men who used fashion as a language when words weren't enough. If you liked the video, give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Because the red carpet isn't just a place you walk on. It's a stage where sometimes history changes, stitch by stitch.